Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel and the first live stream of 2025. Before we get into anything else, Happy New Year. Hope you guys are good. Hope you're looking forward to a new year. Hopefully a year of a better Manchester United. Maybe. We can dream right. It's a difficult start. Liverpool away from home at Anfield in the Premier League. Literally the best team in the Premier League. Maybe the best team in the world right now. Against the Manchester United side sitting down in 14th. It's going to be a difficult one, right? You literally could not give us a harder fixture right now. A team that is more set up to hurt us. But today, the challenge is to try somehow to mend the starting 11 that Ruben Amorim used the other day, to create a team, to create a tactical idea that can get some points in this game. People will say it's impossible, that we've got absolutely no chance. But I also recall a few weeks ago, people were worried about City, for example. And we, of course, beat them. We beat Liverpool last season in the Cup when no one expected us to. Manchester United, of course, have a chance. Ruben Amorim tactically needs to set us up in the right way. We need the right personnel. And then, of course, we need the individuals to perform. But before we get into picking the 11, I do quickly want to say good morning to some of you guys in the chat. We've got King, we've got Matt, we've got Zipsy. Hope you guys are good. Chad as well. How are you, my friend? Matt asking, why did the brain shrink? Damn, that's me for real. Ever since being an overachiever in primary school. Why'd the brain shrink? Why'd it have to happen? How are we, guys? How are we feeling about this game? It's tough, right? You look at that Liverpool team on paper, you go through the starting 11, and it looks like it's going to be a difficult one, a challenging one. Currently on screen, we've got the two 11s from the last game, right? So, of course, this Manchester United team is questionable. I think when Ruben Amorim released this 11 the other night, we were all a little bit confused. The team was odd. The team selection, Eriksen and Casemiro in midfield against one of the most physical teams in the Premier League, in Newcastle, was a little bit bizarre. Did we have much choice? Perhaps not. Kobbie Mainoo perhaps needed to be rested. We didn't have Ugarte. We didn't have Bruno Fernandes. So maybe we were forced into those decisions. I'm not sure. Fortunately, we've got a couple of the main men back. And no homo, but Ugarte is hot. You know what, mate? You're right. What a good-looking man. And Bruno Fernandes as well. A really beautiful man. But it's good that we've got them both back. They will bring intensity. They will bring kind of dual-wielding ability, ground coverage. They will buzz about the pitch. They are essential. We need those sorts of players for this game. And again, I think the challenge today is kind of the challenge we had last week before the Newcastle game, where we were trying to come up with an 11 that had the physical capacity to actually go out-battle the opposition, or if we can't out-battle them, at least match them, win the duels in the middle of the pitch. But also we need a team that can have the technical quality to actually take hold of the ball in pressure situations, to keep the ball, because I think that's when we look at our best, when we actually keep the ball, that idea that if you've got the ball, you can't concede. That's what Manchester United need to try and go for in this game. This can't be a park the bus match. So we do need that blend of technical quality and physical quality. It's a blend which is quite difficult to come by in the United squad right now, because it's just not a great squad, right? Fundamentally, I think we've all really learned that over the past 18 months, particularly in the last month. It feels more highlighted than ever. But it is the challenge for today, to get rid of all these Manchester United players and basically start again and try and come up with an 11 that can win this football match. And that is a challenge for me, but also for your guys. I am going to need a lot of help in the chat. I'm going to need a lot of help, because this might be the trickiest one of the season, simply because it's difficult to find a team that can win this match. We'll start off in goal, obviously. It's Onana, right? He's not been in the best form recently, but it is Onana over by Indit. The rest of these kind of positions, I think, are really, really up for grabs. I don't know that there is a guaranteed starter for this game, apart from probably Ugarte coming back into the 11. And I guess normally you would assume Bruno Fernandes as well. Although there's obviously a little bit of talk about who the referee is this weekend and his kind of history with Bruno, or the fact that he's just not a very good referee. But I don't think we should look into it too much, because I think that's the case with every referee in England. I don't think many of them are that good. So I think people need to relax on that front. I've already accepted defeat. AJ, please try persuade me otherwise. I think that's my mission for today. That's my plan for this stream. To hopefully, between us, we can come up with a team that we actually feel genuinely can go beat Liverpool. It's a challenge. It's a tough one. I actually think there are areas of weakness in the Liverpool team. I don't think, despite they've been brilliant, of course they have, but I think there are areas of weakness. I don't think they're a perfect team by any means. I think defensively, despite all the clean sheets they've kept this year, I think there are ways that you can get at them. I think on the ball they have certain tendencies which we might be able to exploit. Am I just clutching at straws here, desperately searching for positives? Yes. But I believe. We always believe, right? Would you start Lisandro Martinez then? Well, that's one of the big questions that we need to answer today. Because his form recently has been shoddy, right? That Newcastle game in particular, pretty horrendous. Remember, if we don't show up to Anfield, it's a 3-0 defeat. I reckon that's the game plan. I mean, it's not a bad strategy. Damage limitation. AJ, thoughts on Luke Shaw saying your mum is on benefits while we are in a relegation battle? I saw something about that. I didn't actually pay attention or watch it. Is that actually what he said? Right. Good old Luke Shaw. It's kind of irrelevant, right? I don't think it matters too much. A bit of an odd thing to say, but Edwick, good morning, mate. How are you? I think a good video might be looking at our squad and scoring them on factors such as technical level, physical level, etc. Yeah, so what I really want to do is a stream Tuesday. I'm not sure what date that will be, but Tuesday, assessing the Manchester United squad, kind of going through the whole team. The main focus I want to take is a look at the physical side of things. You know, physically assessing the squad. Are they good enough? But we can kind of sum that up into technical as well. And then maybe after that, we'll go into technical and then a video, possibly. I like the idea of it. Callum, good morning. Josh, good morning. David, good morning. What am I seeing in chat going on here? David, how are you, mate? How are you? Do you think we start Mazraoui at left wing back or centre back? All right, well, first thing we need to do, right, is get into this. Let's start the conversation. Centre backs are going to be vital for this game because we need centre backs that can win battles. Recently, we haven't had that, or certainly not always. We need some centre backs that can win their duels, that can win their battles in the middle of the pitch. But also, I think what's really important in this game is that we are brave, that we are bold. I think Amorim will ask that of us. I don't think he will want to resort to constant long ball football. So I think he will want us to try and play out from the back. So we're going to need some technical quality. Players that will come into that conversation are, of course, Yoro in any of the three positions, De Ligt in any of the three, realistically. You've got Maguire for the middle spot, Lisandro Martinez for the left-hand side. Johnny Evans, is his birthday today. That might mean he's going to get a win, you know. I don't know what that logic is. But is he fit? I believe he is. I believe he's in the conversation. Who else have we got down here? I'm looking about and seeing, to be honest, absolutely nobody. Kakonki, definitely an option, I guess. Physical quality. I feel like we're missing someone here. Who are we missing? Xerxes, Hoyland, Malacia, Collier, Anthony, Rashford, Casemiro, Dalot, Mazraoui. Yeah, Mazraoui, obviously a shout for centre-back. Dalot perhaps as well, I think, is a shout for centre-back. I believe that Lindelof, he's out injured, isn't he? He's out injured. So basically, these are the players we've got to try and squeeze into a back three. And what I want to do is go from right to left across the team. So we'll start at right centre-back, then into the middle, then to the left-hand side. And obviously the key is going to be balance. Balance, right? We need the players that can win the headers, but we need the players that can win the ground duels, the players that can cover ground, that can accelerate, but also the players that can get on the ball and play. So we're going to go from the right side and then work our way across the pitch. And I think, to be fair, the right-sided centre-back situation is an interesting one at the moment. Obviously, when Ruben Amorim first came in, it was Mazraoui every week. There was almost no discussion to be had, right? We knew he was going to play there, and that's certainly who he wanted to play there. Recently, we've seen a centre-back playing that position, and we've seen Mazraoui pushed further forward. Personally, not a big fan of it. Not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of 3 centre-backs and then 2 full-backs. I think we need to change that, and I'll discuss why shortly. But it's an interesting decision, because is this the game where you go for example, wingers at wing-back? Is this the game, really, of all games that you choose to make that decision? That feels bold. That feels very bold and brave to do that. So I'm not sure. Lenny Yoro has to start. He would be up there for me, and the poll is kind of agreeing. It's between Mazraoui and Yoro straight away. Dalot getting a couple of votes, but not too many. Not too many. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, everyone enjoyed him. Happy New Year. Hope you had good but safe celebrations, and you're probably all now miserable back to work. Happy New Year. Just how we love it. AJ, happy weekend. How are you? Not bad at all, thank you, actually. I've had, I would say, my best festive period in a long time. I have had no interest for like the last 5 years, but this Christmas and this New Year was good. So Yeah, I'm quite happy at the moment. It would be really nice if my football club could play football. That would help. But personally, I'm very good, thank you. Hope you're good as well. Has to be Euro, surely. I have a tactical point to raise, which I raised the other day, which I like the idea of Euro on the left-hand side as well, if he doesn't make it into the first team on the right-hand side. And I'll explain my reasoning again, and I think I am going to do a video on it. Because when I said it last week, people were a little bit shocked by the shout, I guess, that the idea I had and my reasoning behind it, but I actually think it works. And Matt called me big brain for it, so if that doesn't deserve a video, I don't know what does. Actually, I think we desperately need Mazraoui at left wing back. The problem is, if you look at this Liverpool side, and we're trying to kind of match up in certain areas, you're looking at Salah and you're going, all right, you've got to stop him. But there's just quality everywhere else. Diaz is a good player. Gakpo is a great player. The midfield is full of energy, technical quality, delivery from wide areas at fullback, two big, strong centre-backs. It's tough. It's tough. David in the chat with the super chat. I was about to call you Chad for some reason. Why was I about to call you Chad? That guy's rent-free in my head. David, thank you very much, mate. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Saying Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year to you as well, mate. Hope you had a good one. And hope you're having a good start to the year. It's not a Mazraoui versus Euro thing because there is a case of Licha not starting. Exactly. So you can see Maz and Euro playing in that back three. I completely agree. In my opinion, our best back three has both of them in it. In my opinion. But I think a different way around to what most people think. Also, by the way, guys, like Josh and Callum have done there, get some love arts in the chat. Say thank you to David and that super chat. Anyway, the poll. Mazraoui, 43%. It's fairly close. Voice crack. Not even a voice crack. My voice just didn't exist. It's fairly close, actually. I'm going to leave that a little bit longer. We've got 82 votes at the moment. If we can get up to 85, I will then call it. We've got a 41% split at the moment. It's now 42-42. So this next vote, we're on 84 right now. If we can get one more vote, that vote will literally decide the poll of who we put on the right side of defence. Who is going to be the person to vote. And if it's no one, it's just really awkward. And I'm going to pick which no one wants. Oh yeah, also, by the way, guys, in the chat down below, there we go, we'll end the poll there. In the chat down below, David has left a link to the Discord server, so let me quickly pin that to the top of the chat so you guys can join. The chat is moving too fast, so I can't do it. Bish, bash, bosh. Link to the top of the chat, Discord server, completely free to join. Get involved. I'm very sure it will be active over the weekend for this game, so get involved. Anyway, who won that poll? Mazraoui into the team at right centre-back. And I think it's a good decision. I think it's a good decision. Anyway, now we move to the middle centre-back. Now, this one's a little bit more interesting because I think there's always in the United fan base disagreements here because there's people that just don't like Harry Maguire, right? Just always has been the case. And there's people that do like De Ligt, so there's kind of a split there. Johnny Evans, does he come in? Not realistically. I think, again, it is these two. Could we put Euro into the debate? Possibly, but I'm not going to for the purpose of this one because I want to put him here, basically. Is that me being slightly biased and trying to lead team selection here? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I do think there is real disagreement in the central centre-back position, in the fan base, over who is the best player for this position. I like Harry Maguire. I think he's excellent for this role. I don't think he's always comfortable inverting into midfield, like Amorim asks, which is perhaps something we need to look at in the future. But in terms of, picking the best 11 for this game, I think Harry Maguire's physical ability, I think his ability at set pieces is absolutely, crucial to this United side. We're terrible on set pieces. Harry Maguire is someone who helps us out. Of course, De Ligt isn't weak either. He's not poor, but there's levels to it. Maguire, for me, in the air, is one of the very, 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 very best. De Ligt's good, but he's just better. He's just slow. He is, but some of the best centre-backs we've ever seen are slow players. Slow centre-backs, but they read the game. And I think Maguire has done really well recently. I like Harry to come back from where he was as a credit to him. Not even as a footballer, but as a person, the mental strength. Fair play to him. Johnny Evans is our best centre-back. I think he's unlikely to play this game. If we're talking about players being slow, that's a slow player for you. And someone who doesn't turn quick enough in the box in particular. Very similar, but De Ligt is just that bit more mobile for me. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think they are, in terms of profile, they're a similar player. Similar type of footballer. That's what I said when we signed De Ligt in the summer. That's why I was a little bit concerned, because it's the same profile rather than a change, and I felt that we needed a change. The difference between the two is that I would say De Ligt is a bit quicker, a bit more mobile. You know, not massively. He's not lightning quick, but he's a bit quicker. He turns a bit better. I think that's good. I think Maguire is stronger in the challenge and probably better with his longer passing. So they both have pros, they both have cons. For me, Maguire edges it because I think he's the better ball progressor and better in the air. But I also understand going forward the licks mobility. So I don't think there is a wrong decision here either. You know, I don't think there's a wrong call. They're both good players, both very good centre-backs. And I'm comfortable with either of them starting this game. Maguire is a better leader for the players as he is one of the senior players. Yeah, potentially. He's played in this sort of game before as well. Because of the pressure, we need senior players in our lineup. I would actually start Anthony at right wing back. Yeah, the wing back conversation is going to be a big one this week. Or the wing back and the front three. It's tricky. It's tricky. Anyway, De Ligt is kind of dominating that poll, so we're not going to run it for too long. Let's just end it there. Thank you to everyone who voted. So De Ligt goes into the team. De Ligt goes into the team. So now it's left centre back, right? Realistically, again, I just don't think Johnny Evans is going to play left centre back against Salah. All right? It's not going to happen. Could Maguire play left centre back? No. No. So it's Lisandro Martinez, who is our most natural left centre back. It's Lenny Yoro, who did come on in the game the other day on the left side of defence. Called it, by the way. And there's also Kukonki. Now, I know what I personally would do, but I'm not going to give my reason or explanation until after the poll, because I don't want to sway you guys. I know what I would do, and I have a very specific reason for why I would do this. But I sort of explained it the other day, to be fair, so if you guys were here the other day, you'll know. Martinez, Yoro, Kukonki. There we go. Bish, bash, bosh. Now, Maguire can definitely play left centre-back. I think it depends on the defensive system. I think if we were to lose the ball, right, when we're attacking with our back three and we lose it, Salah against Maguire would be terrifying. De Ligt has a mistake in him, but so does Maguire. Completely agree. Lapses of concentration at times. But Maguire in a back three is his strongest. I agree with that also. Yoro left centre-back. He's a right centre-back. David, you will actually find, if you go back and watch some of his footage from in the past, he has played left centre-back before. He also played left centre-back the other day when he came on, and I actually think, and I'll explain it in a second, I think there is a real tactical benefit of playing Lenny Yoro on the left-hand side of defence. I think something else we really have to consider with team selection, right, is let's quickly do this. Quickly do that for just for 1 second, right? As a hypothetical. That back three defending set pieces. You know, where's the height coming from? Because we're not got height in midfield or out wide or in the front three, apart from Højlund. We need a real centre-back in there, don't we? We need a big, strong, physical centre-back. Yoro's right-footed. He absolutely is. And that could be useful for dealing with Salah as he comes inside onto his left. I don't feel that it's a big deal in this game what footed centre-back we go with on the left-hand side. I think actually raising the physical floor is going to be the most important thing, because we can talk about the technical details all day, right, of a left footer gives you this balance, it gives you this passing option, the ability to exploit this channel, but none of that's really important if you can't go in a tackle. So, yeah. Yoro doesn't look tall, but he is a long boy. I think he's taller than you think. And like I said, he doesn't look quite lanky, but yeah, he's pretty tall. If Shaw had been fit, he'd be my number one choice to go up against Salah. Yeah, not a bad shout. Do you remember the other season when Tyrell Malacia locked down Salah? Good times. Stephen says, my wife Shelby says, hi AJ, every time I watch one of your videos, lol. Hi Shelby and hi Stephen. Hope you're both well. Hope you're both good, enjoying the videos and maybe the streams as well. You talk like De Ligt is a small lad. Oh no, I'm not criticising De Ligt in the air here, by the way. Strong aerial player. My point more is the other two, right? If your whole team, your height is De Ligt and Højlund, I think you're in trouble. Yeah, someone did point out, is Gomez injured? Because Konate is currently out. So it's going to be Quansah. I can't remember what number he is. Mazraoui left centre-back. It is an option. But I'm going to explain why I wouldn't do it that way around. I'm going to explain it. But he is a kid playing against Salah in his prime. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But if you're good enough, you're old enough. Is that what they say? Can we get a defensive left wing back to help us out? Maybe. Anyway, regardless of what we think, Yoro has won the poll. So thank you for everyone to voting. 110 votes. We love that. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. Anyway, let's put Yoro in here on the left. Bro, what's your opinion on Rashford? To be honest, I'm kind of just avoiding the whole Rashford situation because who do you trust, right? There's so many media reports. Some are positive, some are negative. They've been a bit more positive the last day or so, I would say. You know, it's a lot of point scoring. There's all sorts of different agents involved, clubs involved. I just don't care, to be honest. I really want to care, but I don't understand enough about it to really care. The ideal world for me is that Rashford stays at this football club, comes good, becomes a 25 goal a season player, starting for Manchester United. If he can't be that, perhaps we need to sell him. If we're going to sell him and get some money for him. If that's what happens, cool, we'll build the squad from there. It's not ideal. In terms of the whole, like, what the media are saying, the reports, how hard is he working, has he been doing this, has he been doing that, I just don't care. Because who do you trust? Who do you trust? The newspapers are in it for themselves. But also there's people from Rashford's side who are in it for themselves. So I don't care. Like, I'm not saying I don't care about your question. I'm just avoiding the situation, if you know what I mean. Yoro is supremely mature for his age. I think he's built to handle the pressure. I think particularly what helps Yoro is just actually his style of defending. And I'm not comparing in terms of quality here, but he defends like Van Dijk and Saliba. And what I mean by that is he's always a player who is going to buy himself that little bit of extra time. The way that he approaches duels and challenges is a containing idea. Rather than being rash and reckless and flying in, he looks to contain players. And what that does is it just gives him that extra second, which I think gives him that element of being calm and mature. Because he's not rushing in, he's given himself time, he makes better decisions. That's why I quite like him. Also, someone's just pointed out we've only got 40 likes on the stream. Not sure about that. I think that needs to change. Amorim has had barely any training sessions. I think we'll see a better team later in the season. Completely agree. Completely agree. Need Ahmad in right wing back. I think we go on to the wing backs now, and then once we've done that, it will allow me to make my point about the back three. So we'll do wing backs and then we'll go into midfield. So we'll start on the right hand side, where the options are Dalot, he's played one game there, I believe. Ahmad, he could play there. And Anthony, I believe. Those are the options to the right hand side. Now, we're not going to do a poll for this one. What we're going to do is you guys are just going to put a name in chat with a bit of reasoning. So put Ahmad and then put a brief description why, or Anthony and why, Dalot and why. And then after you've done that, we'll do the same for the left hand side. Malacia could, Dalot could. Who else could? Amas, he's not going to be thrown in for this one. Garnacho left wing back, maybe. Not sure. Liked mate, just made a day. Perfect, love it. It's a subscriber's birthday coming soon. I can't think who it was, but someone this time last year said it's like my wife's birthday on the stream or something and got me to say happy birthday. And I know it's close and I want to remember when it is. Sorry, I'm just rambling. Wait, that might have been Shelby. On like the 17th of January. Am I right, Stephen, mate? If so, that is a great memory from me. Ahmad, because he's been very influential from there. I think the idea with Ahmad as well is if you can get him a little bit deeper, more touches on the ball, right? More touches. I think naturally players that play in deeper positions get the ball more because you're helping with playing out from the back. And I think the way that Ahmad plays is quite influential to United. You know, if he's a player that you can get on the ball a lot, I think it does kind of set the tone for the rest of the team. So I think he's a player you want involved. So I do like the idea of him deeper. The only problem with him deeper, and Ruben Amorim said this the other day, he said that Ahmad is an option for right wing back because he was asked why he keeps playing fullbacks there. And he said, Ahmad is an option, but he likes a left footer in the right forward spot. So we do need to consider that as well. So do you go Anthony wing back and do you put Ahmad right forward? Or do you just abandon that balance in general? If Ahmad plays right wing back, who plays right wing? Exactly, it's tough. It's tough. Stephen, I was right, look at that. See, I'm a man of the people, mate. Ahmad is mature and will be more dynamic in counterattacks. Yeah, I like it. Most of you guys are saying Ahmad for the right-hand side. Does that leave us with Dalot on the left, I would assume? Because we're not going to go Malacia, I wouldn't think. Weren't even in the squad the other day. So does that leave us with those wing-backs? Is Bruno available? Yes, he is back from suspension, as is Ugarte in midfield. I think this is going to help us a lot. Is Mount fit? Probably not. But I don't think he is. I don't think he is. Is the red card ban more? So normally a straight red card is a 3-game suspension, I believe. But for Bruno, it was double yellow, right? So it's only the 1 game. Malacia did good against Saka. I thought he'd done pretty well. Again, in his first season at United, he'd done really well against Salah. But I just don't think he'll play this game. Put Anthony wing back and put Ahmad in the kind of ram spot. Yeah, maybe we'll come back to that right side one when we get to the front 3. Mount is out till March. Is that how long it is? I saw the injury, but never saw how long he was out for because I was on holiday. So I never actually saw it. Dropped out to the bench and play with 10 men. It's an option. It's an option which we should consider. Ahmad right wing back, Bruno Ram, Garnacho Lam. Who would you put left wing back in that system? Dalot perhaps? Anyway. Let me give... Do I do it now or do we need more players? We'll do it now, right? I've got an issue with Ruben Amorim. Now, not as much of an issue as what people on Twitter have. There's this big idea at the moment going around that physically in a back 5 you can't succeed. Everyone is saying that all of a sudden. You know, a year ago Ruben Amorim was a good manager. Now if you play a back 5, you're capped, you're limited. It's not the football meta. You will not win the Premier League. That's kind of the idea that's going about recently. And I just don't agree with it. I think it's completely wrong. You can win the Premier League in a back 5. Of course you can. It is mental to say that you can't. However, I do think we need to try and take a more proactive approach in moments at times. I think this shape on the ball is really nice for us. It gets us that back 3 to build the ball. We get 2 in midfield, so plenty of numbers in the middle of the pitch. We get the wing backs forward, width, overloads. Love it. I really like it in possession. Off the ball, I think it's okay when we're deep. I think it's okay if, you know, during a spell of the game where Liverpool have really pinned us back, it's probably a good thing for us to be able to drop into a back 5. You know, that's probably going to be a good thing for us because, you know, we've got extra players here. They can't overload us as easily. We've got players in the box to win the ball. My problem with the back 5 at the moment is these moments where we're passive in the middle third. When, for example, it might be Van Dijk will have the ball. And let's say, just for example, Liverpool playing in this sort of shape. It's in these moments, I think we collapse a bit too much. A bit too much. I think we, rather than playing in a back 3, we do play in a back 5 in these moments. And the point I keep making recently is, if you're playing with 5 on the back line and the opposition are attacking with 3, you're outnumbered, right? You've got 5v3 there, cool. But over here, you're not going to have as many players. So I think what United need to try and do, when possible, not always, but when possible, is out of possession shift to a back 4. Now, Ruben Amorim has done this in the past. He done it at Sporting. He spoke about it the other day. And he also was doing it certainly more regularly when he first came into the club. The Everton game was one I referred to the other day, where Ahmad basically played as a right midfielder out of possession in that game, despite being a right wing back. We shifted to more of a back 4 like this, and Ahmad was regularly winning the ball in these areas, and that's how we got a lot of our goals, right? Jared Brandtwaite made some mistakes. I think United should try and move towards this, and the reason we should do this is because if we've got 4 on the back line instead of 5, that means we're going to have more a little bit higher. Now, again, I'm not talking about going for a super aggressive high press against Liverpool, because I think we'll get outplayed, right? In terms of going man to man, seems like a bad idea. It seems like a bad idea, because physically they're much better than us. Technically, they're much better than us. But I do think out of possession, we've seen it before under Ruben Amorim, and let's just put a few players in here. The personnel doesn't matter too much. I think shifting to the 4-4-2 allows us to get more pressure on the ball, and that's why I would go with this back 3, because it means when we shift to the back 4, Dalot's dropping into left back, which it's not ideal, but it's probably kind of the best we've got at the moment, unless maybe you swap Mazraoui and Dalot, maybe. But it means Yoro's playing centre-back alongside De Ligt. I think aerially, physically, I think that's pretty strong. I quite like that. And Mazraoui's right back. So we're kind of tweaking shape in-game, moving from a passive shape to the trigger to then press, go a little bit higher. But we're still keeping players in optimal positions. You know, for those that say Mazraoui left centre-back, Yoro on the right, that kind of restricts our ability to go into the back 4. because Mazraoui left centre-back doesn't make sense. So I do think this is something that United should try and do more regularly. Is this the game where we're going to try it? I'd be a little bit surprised. This is probably more what I want rather than more what I expect. I think Ruben Amorim will understand Liverpool are a threat, so we'll probably kind of sacrifice a bit of territory. And I think we'll probably get men behind the ball. I like the idea of trying to be more aggressive, though. Just my thought. Just my thoughts. I see a lot of people in the chat going on about Dalot. Who else do you want is the problem. Do you want Mazraoui to play there? Mazraoui's not a particularly good 1v1 defender. He's just not, unfortunately. I think on the ball, one of the best in the world. But off the ball, he's not a great 1v1 defender. We've seen him struggling a few times recently. He doesn't stop crosses particularly well, for example. I don't really know what else we do. Who could go on the left? There's no one. Harry Amas, too early for him, right? And in terms of physical battles, he's going to get overrun on that side of the pitch. Salah's strength against Harry Amas would be a complete mismatch. Malacia, could he do it? I don't know. This is an emergency game. I'd put Bruno and Ahmad on the wings. They understand the system. Mazraoui's positioning is better. Yeah, I would agree with that. But I think we lose some of his ball-playing ability in the back three, which we normally need. Malacia, just for his left-footedness, possibly. Kukonki left wing-back. He's just very much a centre-back is the problem. I don't know if you want him to make his debut out of position. Lissandro Martinez at wing-back, not for me. He'd get absolutely destroyed, I think. He would offer quite little going forward, I would imagine, in the final third. And he doesn't have the energy and the engine to get up and down this side of the pitch, unfortunately. So I don't think he's an option. Garnacho, I think his ball retention isn't good enough. We're so limited, right? We're so limited. This is why I keep going on about it. We need a left wing back. We need a left wing back badly. Kukonki plays left back a lot in the academy. Yeah, I just think there's a difference between left back in a back four, where you kind of tuck into the three at times, and then actually going left wing back, where you're bombing forward into the final third every time you get the ball. I think there's a difference. It's a difficult one. Because obviously the other thing we need to consider as well, right, is Liverpool's biggest strength at the moment is actually Salah on the right-hand side. Surprise. But what he's doing a lot of is... Oh, that's Van Dijk. He's getting the ball on the right. He sort of cuts in onto his left and floats crosses towards the back post. Team selection, again, that is something we need to consider. Is this a game where you go De Ligt back post just to deal with that? It's really difficult. There's so much to consider for United here. Because this is a game where we're not going to dominate. We might have possession, but we're not going to dominate and control the full football match. I feel like a lot of what we're trying to do here is be reactive to Liverpool. You know, rather than going, we want to assert our play style, etc. onto them. I think we are going to have to be, reactive, a little bit passive, kind of match up with Liverpool, limit them more than playing to our strengths. It makes it really difficult to do. It makes it tough. It's on Ineos for not getting a left wing back. Possibly. The problem is we needed so much in the summer, right? It's tough. Gakpo is so sneaky, we should be very careful with him. Yeah, he's a good player. Really good player. Now they're actually finally playing him in his position on the left wing rather than up front. He's a great player again. Never was a striker. Not sure what Jurgen Klopp was doing there. On the left-hand side, great player. Honestly, it's like we're cooked anyway we go. What if... Okay, we do accept being a bit more passive for the sake of security. What if we go something like... Could we take Mazraoui out or put him over there maybe? What if we go... Where is he? Harry Maguire like this. Now, this would mean defending in a back five, but perhaps we just have to accept that for now. Could we do this? It means that when Salah's cutting in, you've got Mazraoui's experience there, but also Yoro's athleticism, which will be important. As he's cutting in and crossing towards the back post, we've got plenty of height back there. We've got, some physicality on set pieces. I think this is something that has really annoyed me. Not necessarily, it's not Ruben Amorim's fault, it's just the squad we've got, right? One of the big advantages of playing with a back three, kind of traditionally, normally, is when you've got three centre-backs, exactly that, you've got three centre-backs. It's big, it's strong, it's physical, they can win their battles. Three big, tall, robust guys. It should make you a massive threat on set pieces. It should, in theory, make you better defensively at set pieces because you've got three guys there who can go and win their headers. The way that United have been doing it, not so much recently, but particularly a few weeks ago, is, it's Mazraoui, De Ligt, and Lisandro Martinez. We kind of lose the benefit of the back three defensively. The height, the ground duels. We lose that. I do like the idea, if possible, of getting three centre-backs in there. The other day, was it the Newcastle game where Yoro comes on quite late? It was the first time, purely from a physical point of view, purely looking at a setup and looking at the physique of the players, it was the first time it looked like, yeah, you know what, we've got three big centre-backs on the pitch there who are going to win the headers when the ball comes along and are going to be a threat at set pieces. I do like the idea of it. Maguire left centre-back, De Ligt in the middle, Yoro right. I would be really worried about Maguire versus Salah is the only issue. I think Lisandro Martinez needs to be dropped. Yeah, I do as well. I like Lisandro Martinez. I think he's a great player. On the ball, I'll maintain, I think he's one of the best in the world. Unbelievable ball player. But no player is undroppable, right? No one's position in this team should be safe. He's not playing very well at the moment. So I think it's time we move him out of the team for a bit. I don't think Casemiro can play in the midfield too. Yeah, I just quickly moved him in for an example of something. We don't actually want him there, I don't think. What about Ahmad as a right wing back? Mazraoui as a central midfielder? Possibly. With Ugarte. Mainu as a 10 with Bruno. And Dalot or Anthony at left wing back. Does it work? I think there's potential in that, but I think it's too experimental for this game, if you know what I mean. Greg, how are you, mate? I haven't popped in for a while because I don't even want to think about football at the moment. It's rough, right? Wide centre-backs need a strong command of a nice vertical chunk of the pitch, in my opinion, which I love Yoro for. There's been moments, like the Spurs game, for example, where he's connected to the press all the way up here. Like you said there about those spider legs, he's got that ability to, in any situation, make a tackle. He can make a tackle from anywhere because of that body, that frame. Who described him as long earlier. He's a long man. He can make those challenges, absolutely. So is this the back five, I think? Is this the back five you want to settle on? Is this what you reckon? I don't mind it. Is there any way to control the midfield? Well, Tony, that's probably the next challenge, right? Probably the next challenge. I think what everyone will agree on is we need this guy back in midfield. And actually, I'm not talking about Bruno Fernandes. I'm talking about Ugarte. I was a little bit concerned about the signing in the summer. I still think he's got weaknesses. But under Ruben Amorim, he's been amazing. Probably our best performer. And we really missed him the other day. Is he perfect defensively? No, right? There are moments where he's a bit too rash, leading to suspensions and things like that. But in terms of his ground coverage, his ability to bite into tackles, it's just that aggression. I think we need it. The snapping in the middle, we need it. So I think Ugarte, wherever he is, definitely plays this game. The question is the partner. Who goes alongside him? Kobbie Mainoo. Possibly. Looked really good the other day when he came on, actually. I thought that was his best performance in a bit. Eriksen. Probably lacks the athleticism. Casemiro, bit of defensive security, possibly. And then probably Bruno Fernandes. Again, it's a game where I like the idea of Collier, to be honest. I think his physicality and stuff would be quite useful. But I just don't think we're going to do it. I'd like to include him in the poll, but I don't think it's realistic. Anyway, let me make this poll. And remember, just because a player doesn't win the poll here, that doesn't mean we have to kick them out of the team. They could get into a different position. So, for example, Bruno Fernandes may not win this poll, but he might for the inside forward positions. So just consider that. Mainoo, have I typed that right? Mainoo, Eriksen, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes. There we go. Bosh. Mainoo and Ugarte doesn't work. What makes you say that? I think there are two better ball retention players apart from Christian Eriksen. Dalot should be Ugarte's partner. Would play 3-5-2. Bring one of the 10s into the midfield to make it a 3. Very, very doable. Depending on how we pick our front 3, we can absolutely do that in this game. That's what I'm saying. Amorim's team selection is awful. I think what you really need to remember when Amorim picks his 11s for each game, hopefully it will change as the season goes on, but particularly at the moment, being at a new club with a lot of players who just aren't fit, right? Particularly when he first came in. So many players coming back from injury or just haven't played a lot of football, then got injured, whatever. Ruben Amorim's 11 every week hasn't been what 11 can win this football match. Right? That hasn't been his thought process for every game. Same with the subs, right? Not every sub he makes is this sub is the one to win the football match. A lot of it is actually these guys need minutes. I need a squad. He can't just manage 11 players. He needs 20 players for the rest of the season, right? So some of his decisions aren't, this is the best player for this game. It's, this player desperately needs an hour. He needs some minutes. Or we need to get this guy off because we probably want him to try and win the match. But if we keep playing him, he's going to pick up an injury. So we have to take him off. That's what you need to consider. So with the other day, it was bizarre. But obviously, Ugarte and Bruno Fernandes weren't there. And perhaps he felt that Kobbie needed a rest. Ultimately, Kobbie didn't get that. He came on and played very well. But perhaps that was the reason, and I'm not sure. Mainu has been terrible, let's be honest. We're watching a different player. I just don't think he has been. Mainu and Ugarte are the most static midfielders in the league. Completely disagree, to be honest. I think Ugarte he's not static enough. He probably needs to be more static. He needs to slow down a little bit. AJ, why do you think we struggle so badly with building up through the middle? I actually think there's a few reasons behind it. I think it would be wrong to say it's one thing or the other thing. I think part of it is simply, and I say it a lot in match videos, the middle of the pitch is crowded, right? That is where all teams have the most players. These are crowded parts of the pitch. It's difficult to play through there. So to go through there, you've got to be perfect. You've got to be perfect to move the ball through these areas. And when we look at the United team, first of all, do we have the players? Do we have the profiles? No. We don't have inside forwards that want to receive with back to goal in these areas like this, which makes it difficult because we can't kind of ping the ball forward through the lines and hold the ball and play from there. We don't have that. But also, we do lack progressive play in the middle. Ugarte and Kobbie are not the most progressive passers in the world, right? Neither of them fire balls through the line on a regular basis. The other thing to consider is if we are trying to move the ball through the most difficult part of the pitch, you need patterns of play. You need routines. You need movements which almost become instinctive because they do it so regularly. And to put it very simply, we are not even close to that under Ruben Amorim because no training time. I think we've had 4 training sessions under Ruben Amorim, he said the other day, like proper training sessions where you're not just doing recovery, you're doing proper work. 4 training sessions is nothing to try and understand a new system. So I think it is just simply, it's very difficult to play through the middle. We haven't really got the players for it. And as of yet, we haven't got the system or the patterns for it. So it's not going to change in this game, I wouldn't think. So therefore, if that's the case, we need to be good out wide. We need to be good out wide. I think you need high confidence as a team to play through the middle. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Hasn't been in the best form, but I think we absolutely need Kobbie's presence to cut through the drama of what's going on. Yeah, completely agree. The way he'll just continue to play his game regardless of the atmosphere could be key. The Newcastle game, right? It was a terrible performance from United. Kobbie came on. Obviously, Newcastle dropped off. They were less intense. But Kobbie brought a calm to the game. When everyone else was panicking, Casemiro was kind of just hoofing the ball when he got it. Christian Eriksen couldn't get hold of the game. The forwards couldn't protect the ball. The defenders were making errors playing out from the back. Kobbie was the one. And you're right, he hasn't been in his best form recently, but he's still not been bad, by the way. We've got to remember how young he is. He's the calming presence in the team, and we need that. We really, really need that. I always feel we've got a lot of emotional players at United. Bruno Fernandes is a perfect example of that. Someone who can lose his rag, lose his head a little bit. Casemiro is a player who I don't think he's emotional in the sense of the way that he tackles, although he can be. But I mean more, when the game gets chaotic, he struggles to calm it down. Kobbie is the emotionally mature player on the football pitch, I feel, which we are crying out for. We need more of that. Mazraoui's probably the other one you would include in that, but we lack them. So the one we do have, I think we should put in the team, personally. AJ, why do you think Lisandro Martinez isn't stepping out to close down the space in midfield? He usually steps out. I ask myself this question, mate. I ask myself this question every time I watch Lisandro Martinez, because 2 seasons ago, the physicality was always going to be a problem, right? But he could make up for it with his aggression, with his timing, his stepping out into midfield to win the ball back. Now he can't do that, so he's almost bringing nothing defensively, as harsh as it sounds. Why is that happening? I think there's a few reasons. I think because we're passive, right, because we lack players engaged high, our midfielders in particular have moments where they're not quite sure whether to go or not. So what's the best way to display this? Let's move it. You know what? Yeah, let's move it like this, actually. So we're just going to focus on this section of the pitch here, right? And this area in particular. So let's say Gravenberch has got the ball here. If your team was playing aggressively, you would nearly always see... Let's quickly chuck a front 3 on just to make it make sense. Ignore the personnel, by the way. But let's say Quanza's got the ball. You would see your front players being aggressive. And that would mean that should the pass go in there, that's your midfielder's man. So your midfielder would be in this position, ready to press. And that makes it fairly obvious that the next man is the centre-backs. Recently, Lisandro Martinez. Let's quickly grab him. So you step out into those areas. I think at the moment what we've got is because we're passive further forward, the midfielders are a little bit uncertain. And that means when the ball goes into Gravenberch, rather than the midfielder immediately being there, right on him, snapping into that tackle, it's just a little bit late. And because he's a little bit late, that means Lisandro Martinez, in a way, is forced to be a little bit late himself. Because if Lich is really aggressive, but the midfield is off, then we just leave gaps in behind and we can be exposed. So I think it's not all Lisandro Martinez. It's the cohesive unit isn't always getting the pressing moments right, the moments where we're more aggressive. We're kind of mistiming those moments, which makes it more difficult for Lisandro Martinez to get his timing right. I also think the injury has just affected him. I don't know if there's a psychological issue there where he's worried about the injury, he's worried about planting the ankle in a certain way. I don't know. Is he worried about going hard into a tackle and getting the ankle hit again? I don't know. Has he... is he heavier than he used to be? Has he put on weight since then? I would say he looks bulkier than what he did in the first season. That affects his timing or his acceleration to get out there. I think it's probably like 5 or 6 different things which are all combining to making him look quite an average defender right now. I think that's kind of what it is. Did I see a super chat? I did. What team are you gone for here? £2 super chat. First of all, thank you very much, guys. You know what to do. You beat me to it. Love hearts in the chat. What an absolute legend. Is it SA? Thank you very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated. He's gone for Kobe Mainu and Ugarte in the double pivot. And Garnacho, Bruno and Anthony is a front 3. Is that a sort of like Bruno Fernandes false 9 sort of vibe? Also, let me get my front 3 off screen because that was just to demonstrate something. That will not be our front 3 this game. Yeah, mate, have you gone for is that like a Bruno false 9 sort of vibe? For the counter-attacks, dropping into these areas. I like it. And also, thank you very much. Great answer, AJ. Thanks. No worries, mate. No worries. Like I said, I've been trying to figure it out myself, and I do just think it's a combination. Hi, repeat this message if you're live. I can't. I'm not live. This was pre-recorded 3 weeks ago. Doku and Gordon put the works on Mazraoui. He's had a couple of difficult games recently. I don't think he's the best 1v1 defender. I think you want him on the ball, really. The nature of how he picked up the injury is tough because it was essentially his own weight causing it. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, does he have that fear now of, can I fully... It's almost like when you walk somewhere where it's slippery, right? And you don't walk like you normally do. You're a bit more hesitant with how you put your feet down because are you going to slip? He probably almost has that a little bit. Of like, do I actually really trust my ankle to step here? It's like when you play on a dodgy pitch as well, right? There's certain areas where you don't quite want to plant your foot because you think you're going to roll your ankle. He probably has an element of that. And of course, when his game is so based on being aggressive, stepping out, being tough, it has to have an impact. It has to have an impact. He might even still be literally in pain with the injury, but we don't know. I think there's a lot going on there. Bruno should be dropping as a box-to-box 10. I like the idea of it. Should we get onto that front 3? Because I think we agree with this line of 4 across the middle. So it's time for the front 3. Options, options, options. Bruno Fernandes back from suspension. We love that. We love that. Good to have him back and available. Anthony, an option for the front 3. You come on in a couple of games recently. Could be an option. I think he's looked okay when he's come on as well, to be fair. I think he's shown moments. Luke Shaw, probably not. Marcus Rashford was on the bench the other day, so I am at least going to include him in the conversation the other day, today. Although I will probably, I'd be shocked if he plays. Xerxes. Old Trafford booed their own player off. What a club. What a club. Was Xerxes playing well? No. Was Xerxes our main problem? No. It was just a way of getting a different type of player on the pitch. It was a tactical switch. Amorim wasn't going, Xerxes, you've been horrendous, get out of here, mate. It was, I needed an extra midfielder in there, so I've got to bring off an attacker. Booing off your own players, crazy. Crazy. Højlund, an option for that front line. And also Garnacho as well. Corey, good morning, mate. How are you? How you doing? I'm not going to read out the name just in case everyone starts adding me. Now, you know what? Jamalama 1999 is what we do. We cook. I reckon we should try Anthony as a left wing back, a left footer on the left as opposed to Dalot. I'm very okay with that at some point. I probably just wouldn't this game because of how good the Liverpool right side is going forward. I'd probably just give it an extra game. Maybe do it in a couple of weeks. Pardon me. Why not Ugarte and Casemiro? Basically, we done a poll and Mainu won it. And I think he gives us a bit more on the ball. He's a bit more composed in the first phase. I think he'll just connect things a little bit more. Do you think Garnacho could work as a striker? Probably not, to be honest. Amorim made a mistake and Xerxes paid for it. In a sense, yeah. Xerxes too slow and weak for Van Dijk's form at the moment. Yeah, I probably wouldn't go for Xerxes in this game. Confidence going to be a little bit low. This isn't a game you need to chuck him into where he's going to be doing a lot of like a graveyard shift where you don't get much of the ball. Also against Van Dijk, international teammate, knows his game. I'd probably avoid him for this game. Maybe a bench impact, not sure. I'd play Xerxes and Rashford with Ahmad off of him. That has seen some of our best football this season. Højlund should be tasked to look after the ball better, completely agree. But he also needs, better service. We need players closer to him. I think whoever got subbed at that point would have been booed. The whole team was terrible. I'm not sure. I would like to think it. Almost in the sense that he wasn't targeted as such. But I'm not sure if I believe it. Xerxes would drag the Liverpool centre-backs out of position. It is a difficult one, right? Because realistically, when you go for Højlund, you're looking for physicality, you're looking for running into channels, ground coverage, being big and strong. He's not going to get the edge over Van Dijk. So is there that temptation to go for a completely different type of striker? Someone who's not physically even going to try and battle them. So you go for your Xerxes? I don't hate it. Xerxes was being especially terrible though, missed a lot of important passes. He was, right? He wasn't playing well. No one was playing well. Not to kind of throw blame on someone else, but Lisandro Martinez cost us 2 goals, for example. We had players losing the ball in midfield. The wing-backs were poor. It wasn't just Xerxes. Yeah, guys, no all capital messages, please. They just won't be read out. Let's be honest, Xerxes is slow, and that's a red flag against Manchester United fans. Yeah, I also don't think he's actually as slow as what people think. It's almost the way he carries himself. He appears slow, but he's not actually always. Xerxes made 3 passes and lost possession a lot. He was awful. The whole team deserved booing. Maybe you can boo your team off. Even that I'm not keen on. I don't get what it achieves. Footballers are not stupid. They know when they play badly. If I've had an absolute rotter, I've given away 3 passes, you booing me isn't the thing that changes it. I know I've given away 3 passes. I know I've been terrible. I know as a team we've been terrible. I don't think the boo really achieves anything. It just creates a negative kind of toxic culture. I understand the frustration from fans. I was frustrated, right? United were terrible for that first 30 minutes. I absolutely despised the performance. I thought it was pathetic. But I don't actually think booing the players really achieves much. Just my opinion. Does booing give a player a kick up the backside? I don't think so. Does it support them? I don't think so. Does it motivate them? I don't think so. I just don't think it does. I don't get what you achieve from it. Did we have a new member in the chat? We did. It was Ete, who also donated earlier. What an absolute legend. Thank you very much. Guys, you know what to do. Be like David. Get some love hearts in the chat. Welcome to the gang, mate. You are now a channel GOAT. Absolute legend. I think it's easy to overlook the role that Newcastle's early game plan played in making players look bad. They are very capable of making things difficult. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Booing your own team is so whack. Yeah, doesn't sit well with me. Not a fan of it. I don't care how bad the performance is. If they physically come out and like insulted someone or assaulted someone or hurt someone, sure boo them. Or if they've said bad things about the club, sure, boo them. But just because they have a day where they're not very good at football, they're not trying to be bad, are they? They're not trying to be bad. Anyway, front three. What are we feeling? Don't think Xerxes was close to being our worst player. I agree. Anyway, the front three. It's a difficult one. In terms of if we're looking at Liverpool and areas that we perhaps need to target, I think they're still weak in front of the centre-backs. McAllister is not a ball-winning midfielder. He's going to make fouls in this game. He always makes fouls. Like, literally always, by the way. I've never, ever seen him not make a foul in a game. And it's because he's not a ball-winning midfielder. It was Liverpool's big issue last season. He was the man deep, holding it together, and he couldn't because he's not that sort of player. Gravenberch this season has done a really good job of adapting. He's playing a lot deeper than what he has in the past. More as a ball-winning midfielder. But I don't think... He's still not natural. He still wants to drift forward because he's so good at ball carrying and he knows it. He's phenomenal on the half turn. And he knows it. He wants to play a little bit higher. So I think there is a space that you can get at in there. The Liverpool centre-back duo right now isn't as strong as it's been in the past. It's not. Van Dijk, of course, unbelievable. But the partner keeps changing. 1 week it's Konate, then it's Quansah, then it's Gomez because there's a lot of injuries. Now, they're all good players that are coming in. But in terms of chemistry, understanding between two players, when you change every week, it's a problem. So Liverpool are a little bit weaker there. Trent, we know, is not the best 1-versus-1 defender. Doesn't have the best recovery pace or almost at times even the determination to get back and defend. So maybe we can target something there. Robertson, just not the Robertson he once was. Good player on his day. And this might be one of those games where the atmosphere at Anfield is mental, which it probably will be. And that will really get him up because he is that sort of player, feisty. But it also could go the other way. He's made some really bad errors recently. He's been a liability for them defensively. So I do think there are weaknesses in that back four. I think the big thing for United is getting the ball there. Getting it there in the first place. I'd start Rashford left wing to exploit Trent. Yeah, it's not a bad shout. It's a difficult one, right? Because of the whole Marcus Rashford situation off the pitch. But if we're purely looking tactically, we've seen him do it before. Trent versus Garnacho. That would be a really interesting battle to watch. I don't know who comes out on top of that. I'm not sure. Front three is a horrible selection. 3 people who doesn't run the pockets nor take care of the ball or attempt a decent shot because we seriously need Ahmad at right wing back this game. Yeah, we are going to lose a bit of balance because of having Ahmad deeper, which is why we're doing it. He makes so many fouls yet rarely booked, especially at Anfield. I'm not going to say anything. Ugarte makes fouls. Is he a ball-winning midfielder? Ugarte makes fouls because he competes in so many tackles, you're going to get some wrong. And he is overly aggressive. It's a flaw of his game. McAllister makes a lot of fouls because he doesn't have very good tackling technique. That's kind of a difference. And he doesn't want to do the defensive work as such. He does it because his manager asks him to, but he doesn't naturally want to get in those battles. Ahmad is more likely to exploit Robertson. I agree. Start Rashford just to trigger Trent's PTSD. Yeah, get him to fully leave and go to Madrid. Might be a shout. Some of our best attacking performances this season have come with Xerxes and Rashford. There's no denying that. Some Southampton, Everton, moments where we've looked good going forward, but Rashford's played on the right in some of them. You know, we get that kind of combination of ball retention in these areas, and then you get your runner. It's tough. Bruno has had 3 reds. Ugarte has had 0. Who is the overly aggressive one? To be honest, right, on that, I don't even think Bruno's overly aggressive. I think it's childlike, actually, more than aggression. I have never viewed a kick out at a player as aggressive. Aggressive is going into your tackles hard, you know, going into your big 50-50s. Kicking out at someone, not aggressive in my mind. Not aggressive, because I think it's easy just to kick someone who's not looking at you, who's running away from you. I don't see that as aggression. I see that as kind of emotionally losing control a little bit. Almost whiny behaviour, in fact. I'd love nothing more than a Rashford masterclass. Can you imagine? Ugate's aggressiveness is a great trait. Yeah, he uses his aggression in the right way. He's aggressive in going into 50s, winning tackles, getting stuck in. Again, at times it leads to poor technique and it sees him caught out and making fouls and stuff. But he uses his aggression in the right way. Petulance versus aggression. Yeah, exactly. There's a big difference there. Bruno irritates refs so much that they just love to book him. Also very true. Very, very true. The refs love to target him. Love to target him. Anyway, front three. Let's just do this by our polls, because I don't know how else to do this, and I don't think we're really gonna. Let's start up front. Let's start up front. Who would I go for? You know what? The more we spoke about it, I would be tempted by Xerxes, but only if you get the right profiles around him, and that kind of comes down to who else is available, and we actually want to pick. Not sure. But like I said, when you play Højlund, you're looking for that physicality, and he's going to try and, you know, go 50-50 with Van Dijk. I don't think that's a good idea. So I would be tempted by Xerxes. Because he won't try and 50-50 with Van Dijk. He'll try and bring a different style. Plus, I haven't been very impressed with Højlund recently. Bruno false 9? Yeah, probably a shout as well, although I don't think we'll do it. Højlund dominating the poll early on. Let me also have a quick drink while you guys vote. Also, if you haven't voted, what are you doing, mate? Drop a vote. Wouldn't even play a striker, it would be a graveyard shift. Oh, I feel so sorry for whoever plays up front in this game. It's just not the job you want. Only 50 votes. What's going on, guys? There is a poll in the chat. It's completely free to get your vote in, but it lets us know who you think should start up front in this game. All you got to do is open it and like tap it or click it, whatever. Very easy to do. Cost you nothing, but it lets me know your opinion, which I'm really interested in, and I value it. Højlund versus Van Dijk will not end well. Xerxes will drop deeper. Would work much better. I like the idea of it. I do like the idea of it. Xerxes doesn't fancy fighting with the centre-backs, which might be a good thing. Which might be a good thing. Because not many that do fight him actually do well. I want to see Rashford this game, I'm sorry. I'd consider it if we're looking for transition and threat. You know, if we... I've said it the other day. The way I see it with Rashford at the moment is if we're going to keep him, use him. If we're not going to keep him, or if we're not going to use him, sell him. So if he's staying, which I don't know if he is, but if he is, let's use him. This is a game where you could use him. Højlund later on when Van Dijk is tired? Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I think Højlund perhaps is a better impact from the bench. Rashford versus Trent without Konate, I need that. Possibly. Callum said, last time, to be fair, Rashford and Xerxes did create 2 huge chances from crosses against Liverpool. That's a very good point, actually. We should have scored 2 goals in that game with Xerxes. Rashford down the left, put the ball in. Very good point. You also have to consider emotions and mentality. This is not the game to drop Xerxes in. Yeah, I don't know if he would see it as being dropped or not. Because I think it's different if you're a starter and then you come out after the other day. Like you come out of the team after the other day. Then you feel more dropped. Because he's not a regular starter. I don't know if he would view it as being dropped. But I do think it would be good man management to give him a game. But only if you can actually put him in an environment where he's got a chance to impress and showcase his ability. Difficult. You'd prefer Rashford over Rasmus or Xerxes? Up front, or would you put him inside forward? Anyway, Højlund's dominated the poll. So, that's fairly straightforward. Højlund goes up front. Which way round do we do this? Now, realistically, if Garnacho plays, I would expect it to be on the left. Rashford could be either. Bruno could be either. Xerxes, I would assume, would play left. He might play right. This team lacks runners early on, is what I'm thinking. And Anthony on the right. You know what? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll go right forward for the poll. And we'll put everyone but Garnacho, because I think Garnacho, if he plays, would play left. Can't even fathom the response if Rashford dropped a masterclass. I have no idea. I know my response would be sitting there like that, but yeah. Like Josh said, there's some people who genuinely would rather he didn't, just to prove a point, which is bizarre. Supporters, they're called, apparently. Anyway, right forward. Fernandez, Xerxes, Anthony, Rashford. The right forward spot. Bruno will play left forward. No point in doing a poll. Unless he wins the one on the right. I'm going to sneeze. The sneeze is coming. It's right there. We're good. We're good. See, Bruno's... We do need a runner is the only thing. We've got, obviously, Højlund. We do need someone who can get something close to him as well. I mean, the left side is so bad. So, sorry, but it's not. As in, like, they're good players. But the balance we end up with in terms of give me a runner, give me a direct threat, give me a dribbler, someone who can go on the outside. We just don't have it. We so badly need a wing back. I hate going on about it so much, but we just do. We just do. I'm a little worried that Amorim still bets on that Dalot and Mazraoui as wing backs. I wouldn't be surprised. Bruno right, Garnacho left. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Bruno and Ahmad down the right would be an interesting little dynamic. See how those two could link up. Particularly if you've then got the runners on the far side in Garnacho or a Rashford, for example. Anyway, Bruno's dominated that poll, so we'll leave that one there. We don't need to get to 100 votes on that one. So Bruno goes right. I don't think Anthony's got a chance on the left. So the left is those three. We need a Nuno Mendes. Yeah, a Nuno Mendes, a Kirkez, an Ait Nori, a man with a left foot. Any of that would be great. Am I missing anyone in this, by the way, or is it just those three? Xerxes, Garnacho, Rashford. Am I missing someone? Obviously, normally you would put someone like Mount into the conversation, but we don't have that right now. I think that's it. I think those are our options. Xerxes, Garnacho, Rashford. Yeah. Xerxes, Garnacho. Yeah, I think that's right. Unless I'm losing my mind. Eriksen maybe, I guess, actually, but probably not. Although we did play it the other day for a bit. Possibly. Dying to know how we solved the left wing back situation this window. Can't forget we've got Leon coming in as well. This is what I mean, like, do we have the ability to sign someone or not? You're missing Eriksen? Well, maybe if you put it in capital letters one more time, I might see it. Man with a left foot, but not the GOAT, Anthony. Not for this game. Not for this game. Not against that Liverpool right side. Garnacho's winning the poll at the moment on 60%. Rashford's on 31%. Xerxes, that's kind of fluctuating, but around 9-10. Just trying to think what I think of this 11. I mean, if we, for example, it does end up being Garnacho, does Yoro, Kobe, Mazraoui kind of bring a nicer balance with Garnacho? It gives him that kind of foundation behind him. Yoro will bring some physicality. Mazraoui some experience. Kobe technical ability on the ball. It's probably one of the nicest dynamics Garnacho would have worked with this season, to be fair. If we sell, then we can buy. Is that how we feel? Like, who for example, would we sell? Because we haven't got a left wing back to sell, for example, so we can't like do a replacement. Say we sell Casemiro, for example, which we've been linked with. Do you sell Casemiro and buy a left wing back, or do you have to buy a midfielder? It's difficult. I'm looking at this 11 and I'm thinking, do I think that 11 wins the football match? This football match specifically. Garnacho's won the poll. Maybe a loan. Yeah, that might be the better option. I don't really know who would be available for a loan, especially at wingback. Not really sure. Cheers, Matt. Thank you. What do we make of that? What don't you like about it, Corey? What's the area that you would be changing? If we could sell Lindelof maybe at left back? Yeah, possibly. Although I don't think you'd get too much for him. Reguilon, bring him back. I'm not sure what I make of that team. I can't. No control in that attack. Yeah, we do lack control there. Very direct. I like the centre backs. Ideally, you would have someone a bit more physically athletic than De Ligt. You know, a bit more mobile, better acceleration, things like that. But I do like that aerially. You know, let's match it up real quick. We're stronger there. And we don't say that very often. We are stronger there. I think midfield, we're going to struggle to match their energy. I would probably move Bruno deeper, have him in the front three, but kind of drop him in here and kind of go for a shape more like that. Kind of pack the middle. Sort of 3v3 in there. Cobby against Gravenberch is a bit of a mismatch. Cobby will struggle with that battle. Without a doubt, that's tough for him. Ugarte can compete with Curtis Jones, I think. Bruno can compete with McAllister. That's fine. On the ball, do we like the wide diamonds? Yoro, Mazraoui, Cobby, Garnacho. There's technical work there. There's ball retention work there. Obviously, no left footers, which is far from ideal. Far from ideal. But that's where we are at the moment. Lacks ball carrying. Proper drive, I would say. Lacks athleticism. Particularly in these areas. But again, it's kind of the squad we've got at the moment. On the right, I like the retention work you get from Ugarte and Ahmad. I think there's a lack of ball progression here. To be honest, I think that's a little bit worrying. Lack of ball progression. I think Ahmad and Bruno could be quite nice as a dynamic, though. We know that Bruno will kind of offer that run in behind. And also he's okay popping up wide, so it might give us more fluidity. More rotations there. I really don't think Cobby and Ugarte work well. I think we have to be really careful this season gauging our midfielders. Because I don't think systematically and in terms of, again, the training time, the patterns, whatever, etc., we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So I don't think... we're going to see any midfield pairing really thrive. These two are probably close to our most athletic, which probably says a lot. They do retain the ball, though. They do keep the ball. I do like that about them. Can see that left side patterning out to put a lot of the onus on Garnacho. Yeah, I almost like the idea, you guys aren't going to like this, but I still like the idea of, granted we lose a bit of physicality there, but I do like the idea of Dalot left side. I know he's been annoying recently. I know he's been poor, but he does just give us drive. He does give us power. He does give us engine to get on the overlap at Trent. And at times he can invert as well, and Garnacho can be wider, and we can have that winger out there. It's a tough one. Either way, I don't despise the 11. Considering this is a very difficult game to approach, I don't hate the team. I don't hate it. Josh said he'd go for Onana, Mazraoui, Maguire, Yoro. Agreed. Ahmad, Ugarte, Manu, Dalot. Agreed. Bruno, Rashford, Xerxes. To be honest, with my front three, I have no idea what I would want. I have no idea what I would want in the front three. Maybe he left Collier out of the Newcastle game, so he had more time for this one. I think if that was the case, he would have at least been on the pitch, though, at some point, right? And he hasn't yet. But this is the team that the polls have led to, right? This is the team that we have ended up with. And is it perfect? No, because newsflash, we don't have a perfect squad. We don't have wingbacks and we don't have inside forwards. It's tough. But I don't mind it. I do like the physical base of the back three. I like it. I like the ball retention of the midfield. I think there's some good potential for patterns out wide with a lack of proper drive and creativity, to be honest. I don't know where the goals come from in the team, I'll be honest. Honestly, I don't think he rates Collier. Well, perhaps again on the whole training front, he hasn't seen him properly enough. Maybe. I think he would like Collier, which is why I find it a little bit weird we haven't seen him yet. How on earth has Garnacho got into the 10 spot? Who do you go if not, though, right? Because if you go, let's say, particularly because we've got Mazraoui on the left, let's say you go Xerxes, they're all coming towards the ball down that side. They are all coming towards the ball, and the way to hurt Trent is to go the other way. Like, we're very one-dimensional there. We need someone who can run beyond and score on a break. Yeah, I think that's why Garnacho and Rashford do come into consideration, even though I don't think either of them are great at the moment in this system. I'm not sure. Front three could look like the Everton game because they have very strong centre-backs. Really good point. Really good point. I don't mind the team. And we are going to leave it there because I think we could talk about this for the next 8 hours and not all agree, right? So all I want now is score predictions. By the way, the team we've ended up with is very similar to what I put in the thumbnail. It's very similar. Oh, man, why'd you have to be dead? Tell me about it, mate. Anyway, score predictions. Get in the chat. Let me know what you think the score is going to be and who's going to grab the goals. If you think Manchester United are going to score a goal, and you're a member, you can use an emoji of the player face if it's a forward. If it's a deeper player, you can't. Sorry. But if you think a forward is going to score for United, use an emoji to show it. Personally, I'm going to go for... Now, I never predict United to lose. And it's not changing today. Okay? It's not changing. Pardon me. Call it delusion. But I'm just not going to predict United to lose, alright? So, my delusional take today is... No, you know what? It's not delusion. With chest, Manchester United win this game 3-2. I have no idea how we score 3 goals, but we're going to concede a couple, and I want to say we win. So 3-2. The goal's going to come from... bear with me a sec. I reckon Bruno scores, and then shushes the ref. I reckon Garnacho scores, and I reckon big old Baz Maguire from a set piece. United from a set piece. Who'd have thought it? 3 goals for United. The 2 for Liverpool are going to be Salah and Gakpo. 3-2 is ludicrous. Let me be delusional, mate. I said I will always predict a win. It is very delusional, I'm aware of that, but I will always predict a win for United, where I can somehow scrape it, and I think here we can. We're going to score some goals. Trent is scoring at least 5 from corners. I didn't even think about that. United's not going to win with 3 defenders. We've got 4 defenders, haven't we? We had a fullback at left wing back. Please tell me, how do you think the possession shot count will go? I weirdly think there will be moments where we get on the ball. Because Liverpool are quite a fast direct team, which means they do overturn possession. So they do give you a chance to get on it. So I'm not expecting like a Liverpool 70%, United 30%. Perhaps like a 55-45 swing in Liverpool's favour. They'll have the shots. They will have the shots though. How can you not see Trent scoring from a corner? Yeah, it's true. The set piece is going to be a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Anyway, we're kind of rambling now. We have covered everything we need to cover, and I think we've come up with a fairly decent team in the end. I think we have actually got a team which is up there with the best chance that we've got in this game, considering the squad is weak, etc. So, yeah, I think we've done a pretty good job today. So, shout out you guys. Josh has just said 8-0. Josh, this may be the last ever stream if we lose 8-0, mate. Yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you to everyone who has been getting involved, everyone who has left a like on the stream, and if you haven't, breaks my heart a little bit. Like, just a little bit. So if you could leave a like before you go, that'd be great. Thank you to everyone who has been involved in the polls. Anyone that joined the Discord server via the link, shout out you guys. Shout out you guys. Shout out you guys. Legends. And if you haven't, again, Discord link is there. Make sure to do it. Filled me with zero hope, but great live. Hey, it's what we do, mate. It's what we do. Yeah, thank you to everyone who's been involved in the polls. Chatting away in the chat. You guys are all legends. Hopefully, Manchester United can somehow get a win in this game. Is it going to happen? We're going to have to wait and see. I do not know. But hopefully, we find a way of getting a result, because it could be a turning point. Although, we said that after tea. Hopefully, it's positive. That is the big aim for this game. In terms of today, we finished there. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed the stream. You guys know how it goes around here. The stream is going to end randomly. So let me know the last word that I say over on the Discord server. That's another reason to join as well, just so you can mock me. I'm going to keep rambling. The stream is going to stop at some point. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys very much for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the